Well, hey y'all, and welcome to the Hillbilly Chicken Ranch. I am Susan, your hostess. We're out in the garden. We're out in our Victory Garden. Our Victory Garden is actually the back garden, but this is the Grow Big 24 Challenge Garden. Y'all can see it is pretty much done. I still got tomatoes and the Peter peppers on the vine. My Dr. White's are not doing well. I've tried everything I know to do. I actually threw some pea shells in here yesterday that we got from the Amish, so I know that they are grown organically. But we have had a time getting any of the tomatoes off this plant without bloom rot, even though I did put eggshells for calcium in there. I did Epsom salt because the leaves at one time was turning kind of a yellow color, and they're just not doing as well as I would hope because of the weather. You can see we've got something out here munching on our plants at night. I'm not finding the little boogers. I know they're there, but I can't find them. We do have a couple of tomatoes hanging on the vine. I got out here yesterday and I did some trimming. I trimmed off some of the dead limbs and stuff, trying to help the plants bounce back. This bed had the dark red beets in it. Of course, now it is an herb bed. I have got, I believe this is rosemary. Yeah, that's rosemary. Got it from the Amish. I need to come out here and pinch off some heads and try to get that thing really blooming. I couldn't get out here for a few days. My husband had to get out here and really do some weed whacking. This is the Peter peppers, y'all. And we do have some Peter peppers. Looky here. Little Peter peppers. Set my stick down so I can get in here with my hands. There's another Peter pepper. So I've got 3 in here, but I don't think they're going to be contenders for the $100 prize. Joe and Corky over at Grow Big TV are giving away $100 for each category. There's 6 categories. And I don't think that they're going to be a contender, but I have enjoyed growing them for the very first time. Y'all, this bed absolutely loves the marigolds, or the marigolds loves the soil. It has just really filled out, and I'm collecting the heads of the marigolds, so I have free marigolds for next year's garden. I do have other Peter pepper plants in here, but they're T90. They grow very, very slow. There's one there and one right there. They grow very, very slow. I've done my sunflower video for the Grow Big 24 challenge. I still have a few blooming out here, so we've left the stems up for now. This was where we had our zucchini, our Black Beauty zucchini, and y'all see the vine borers finally got to that one as well. And so we have just let this bed go. I do have some lima beans in here. The corn just didn't make it, but it is what it is. We get what we get out of it. This bed here had the watermelon radishes in it, and of course they're gone. And I've got some oregano in here, and it looks like it's being attacked by some kind of fungus or some kind of bug. But I've got that. I'm going to get out here and harvest what I can off of it. And would y'all believe that the strawberries are bouncing back? I've actually come out here and seen a few strawberries forming. There's one right there. I'm thinking that I might get a second harvest out of some of these. It might be something I get. I don't know. We're going to walk on the back side, and then we're going to come around to the front. That is our last remaining sweet potatoes. We're hoping we get some sweet potatoes out of that. It is just very, very luscious. We did not have any luck with any of the other potatoes. I think we got about 5 pounds of red potatoes out of the whole thing that we did this year. This is turmeric. It has done very well. It's also companion planted with lima beans, which haven't formed any beans yet. Although I'm seeing blossoms, so we might get some out of that. Now this area is weeded. He did not get in here. I don't like walking into high weeds, y'all. But this is where the pimentos are at. And there's some pimentos over there. It's finally going to seed, y'all. I'm going to get out here and try to collect those seeds so I can get them for next year. I think that's aromanth. I do have some basil over here that I'm going to allow to go to seed. And my bell peppers are still loaded, but they're falling over because the straw bells are just composted down so much now that they can't hold the weight of the plants. The dill has gone to seed. I'm going to come out and try to collect the seed, so we'll have that for next year as well. But y'all see this, even my little trellis that we put up is falling over. So you can see all the weeds. There's some of my Roma tomatoes. They're still on the vine. This little blue eucalyptus is doing well. I had to get out here and kill off some weeds though, because the weeds were just choking it. And I forget what I planted in here. Let me pinch a piece. That smells like oregano, so I'm assuming that's oregano in there with that. Y'all can see the weeds just took over this year. But look at my marigolds. They are way up there. The purple heirloom and the pink heirloom tomatoes are still producing. So are these Roma tomatoes. There's one in there that's turning. The pink heirloom and this is a purple heirloom tomato right there. They get quite big. They're great for slicing and for canning because they're very meaty. So they're a very good meaty tomato. And so the vines are just going everywhere because they just ran out of places to go. I couldn't tie them up anymore. So you can see it is a menagerie in there. And we come out here every day and we're still harvesting a few tomatoes. And so this is the back side of our tomato patch that we grew in buckets this year. We also have a couple of weird containers down here. You can't hardly see them, but they are car rims. They're down in there, car rims. And so this is the rest of the tomatoes going down. I got to get around this. He's got stuff sitting out here. We have a new bathtub that we're going to be planting in next year that we picked up off the side of the road. So we recycle, reuse, repurpose. These are the lemon eucalyptus trees. They are doing very, very well. They will remain in the buckets. And probably every 2 or 3 years I'll have to pull them out and cut off some of the root and then get them back in there with some fresh soil. But that's okay. We don't mind doing that. So this is the last of this. You can see my tomato plants are really starting to die back. Kind of sad to see them go, but that's okay. It is what it is. This is hashtag Garden Tour Club, hashtag We're Container Growing, hashtag Grow Big 24, hashtag Scarecrow 24, and hashtag Store to Garden Grow. My husband finally got over here. I'm showing you this because my husband finally got over here and cleaned up some of that weedy mess that was in front of our house. I told him I just didn't like that weeds being so close to the house because we do have snakes in the area and we do have poisonous snakes into the area. This is the Weird Container Growing area and y'all can see it is a hot mess. But I do have my ginger root over here and it is doing well, although not as well as it was last year. And we're going to recycle all of this soil in these purple buckets, these mineral buckets, and mix it with the horse manure for next year, get it ready for next year. We can't get rid of these crepe myrtles. We've tried everything. It looks like something has turned some of the leaves on that one yellow. But we try to cut them down because they're so close to the house. And we dug up eucalyptus here a couple of years ago, and of course it's come back with babies. They didn't dig down deep enough, but eucalyptus can be used as a soap depending on the variety. So I'm going to allow it to stay. Here is more of the crepe myrtles right up against our house, and I told my husband we've got to get those root stocks out. I'd love to plant them somewhere else in my yard. And then we've got that growing right up against our house as well. But look at the beautiful flowers. They are gorgeous. They're fading back, but they're still gorgeous. I'm walking out here to our sunflower patch because they're all in full bloom now. Just about every one of them has bloomed. And they are just gorgeous. The birds, the hummingbirds, the butterflies, the honeybees all love this garden spot. And I would love to put a bench out here next year so I could just come out here and watch them. I've got butterflies all over this. And little birds. There was a little golden finch that just flew through. And I do have a few out here I need to come out and harvest heads. But aren't they gorgeous? And some of them are just towering, reaching to the sky. I've got some new ones out here that haven't bloomed yet. They are just gorgeous. And I absolutely love sunflowers. So we're going to come in and do some close-ups on a few of these. Now this is a mixed variety. I save my seed every year. I just throw them in a bucket. And then the next year I plant. So our chickens get a little bit of a treat from sunflower seeds. I would like to have a yard full and not have to worry about buying and supplementing the black oil sunflower seeds for our chickens. But we don't have enough space for that. And even in their final moments of life, they're still beautiful. They drop their heads because the seeds are so heavy in their little flower heads. But they always faced to the east, to the sun. Isn't that amazing? Here's another pretty one. And I'm going to get up here and we've got a little shoot off this one. And then there is the dead sunflower head. And all this green is going to fall off, and then you see the sunflowers in behind that. There's one that hasn't opened up yet. We've actually planted this garden to help our neighbor. You can see the leaves on the bottoms have died back because of the heat that we had. We did get a little reprieve from the heat for about a week. We got temps in the 70s, which was really, really nice. Got another wildflower growing in here. Isn't it pretty? I don't know what that is, but it's a pretty flower. And so the bees are all out here working. The butterflies, the hummers, and the little birds like the yellow finch are all working in the sunflower patch because it's food for them. And we don't mind feeding the wild birds, not one little bit, because we've had blank skies for a long time where we didn't have any birds. We had very few birds. And so I'm thankful for that. Let's come over here to our tall one that is probably about 7 or 8 feet tall. Oh, let's look at the butterfly. Oh, how pretty. That one is probably a swallowtail, although we are having some monarchs released in our area. Isn't that gorgeous? So, so pretty. Next year I'll be planting milk thistle for the hummingbirds and for the butterflies and all the creatures that love milk thistle. And maybe harvesting some seed from it. I don't know. We'll see. I just love this field. I could spend all day out here. This is our victory garden, and let me tell you, we've learned some things this year. We've learned that we have field mice out here that want to eat our cantaloupe and our watermelon and our pumpkins, and so we have to come out here every day and check. These are probably ready to pick, so I'll probably be out here this evening picking those. We have two varieties of pumpkins out here. They're both pie pumpkin, and here is one of them. Looky there. And that one's big. We have watermelon. We have watermelon on this side. We planted the pumpkin in the middle, and then we planted cantaloupe on that end. And it has been an adventure to go into all that to try to find our fruit for the season. There's a cantaloupe forming there. The calendula it looks like it's hanging on, but something's really eating at it. I'm going to walk into this menagerie, y'all, because I want to get over here and show you what we have growing. Look at the stems on this thing. Now, we had vine borers down in our squash, so I'm surprised that they haven't gotten down here to these plants. Did you know that your pumpkin leaves will pee if they need to pee to release water on the plant? I thought that was really interesting. I was out here picking one and it peed all over me. I thought, well, I just got peed on by a pumpkin plant. We've got a little bitty sugar baby watermelon there. And let's see if we got anything in here. And you can see one of them was eaten right off the vine by mice. I'm telling you, the mice are really bad this year. The vines are starting to die back on the watermelon, which is to be expected. And I'm not seeing any pumpkin over here, but I'll have to get into the middle to show you. There's bees in here working, so I have to be careful. They're working all of the blossoms in here. Don't want to disturb the bees, but the blossoms are beautiful. I have to be careful anyway because these vines are going every direction. And I think we have found a couple of pumpkins over here. This one is just about ready to harvest right here. See it? It's interesting, they grow on their side, these little pie pumpkins. And in here also are some watermelon on this side. And we have little pumpkins growing everywhere out here. There's a little one down there. They're just everywhere in here. So let me see if I can get out of here without killing my vines. I'm trying to be careful not to step on the fruit. Okay, I made it out. This bed has one plant growing in it, and the watermelon is actually growing up into the bed. So it's very interesting to get in here and get down into the pumpkin patch, the cantaloupe patch, and the watermelon patch all together. These are little watermelon. No, these are little watermelons growing right there. So they're still producing. There it is from the other direction, y'all. We have walked through that patch. More cantaloupes down here. And, of course, the vines are going everywhere. The green beans are dying back. I came out here yesterday and harvested a great big basket full of green beans. I'm going to be working on those today. And you can see my husband got grass everywhere on this plastic. The plastic, to me, is not doing enough of a job to keep the weeds down. So we're going to just pull this up, and next year we're going to go back to tilling between the rows and then trying to pull grass between our plants. This is our banana peppers. That one is a hot banana pepper, I'm pretty sure. And this is a sweet banana pepper there. I harvested a bunch of those yesterday, and they grow overnight. I've got 2 beds of those. More beans. I think this is the yellow Indian woman beans. I've just been mixing them in with the green beans because I haven't gotten enough of them. Oh, this is a mess, y'all. But we've been getting some cucumbers out of this. They didn't trellis like I expected them to, but the beans are trellising. We're going to come out here later today and probably tie the vines up to the trellis to get them to trellis. There are black-eyed peas on the vines. I came out here yesterday. I picked a few of them, but I told my husband I'd just rather let them go and let them dry on the vine. It would just be so much easier on me if they were dry on the vine, and then I can shell them quickly. We can't find the little hot peppers in here. The vines have just taken over. So I have no idea if they made it or not. But that's a pod of a black-eyed pea, y'all. Now we have 2 varieties in here. We have the bush type, and we also have the vine. We planted the bush type first because that's my intention, was to have 2 pretty little rows of bush black-eyed peas between the trellises. Well, that didn't work out. That's okay. This is our cucumber vine, and there's a cute little cucumber there with the blossom on the end. These are the Abe Lincoln tomatoes that need to be tied up. I couldn't get in here, y'all. I really just could not get in here. We have zinnias here and all kinds of herbs in this bed. And I'm looking to see if I see any cucumbers over here. We did harvest some yesterday. I plant this with basil and with the marigolds to kind of keep the bugs away. And they seem to be doing better with the basil by them. Just so I know for next year I will be doing that again. And I told my husband I've got to move my basil plants. I want them to flourish, and I'll probably put them in some of these fire rings. So when we plow out here or we till out here, we can have basil coming back every year. We won't have to plant again. That's the idea anyway. So this is the Louisiana purple pod green beans. So we harvested a lot of green beans off this yesterday. I don't even see any little, well, there's one right there that we missed. These are the type that my aunt grew when I was a kid. Although I remember the bean pods being longer. I don't know. I have 2 squash plants remaining that was companion planted with the beans. We had 2 of the plants. Well, I got 3. That one has a squash on it that we missed yesterday. I don't see any more green beans on this. But at least we got a harvest out of that. I'm excited about that. There's one green bean plant coming up there. Anybody know what that wildflower is and what that plant is? Because that's a very pretty flower, and the bees are working it. One of the reasons we allow this to go on on our property is because behind this is a farm and they use chemicals to spray their crops. So this kind of shields our property from that. This is the Mountain Fresh tomatoes, and you can just see it's full of tomatoes, and then we've got marigolds planted on one side, and we've got a couple of bushes of basil planted on the other side. So there's some of those tomatoes. We are starting to harvest those. So let me show you the sweet basil. We're going to let the sweet basil go to seed at this point. I may harvest a little bit more to get it in the pantry, but once it goes to seed, I can harvest whatever's remaining. These are provider beans and royal burgundy beans, and they have done very, very well this year. They're dying back, but I'm still getting green beans. So we pulled up a couple of plants already that just completely died, but it had green beans on it, so we harvested those. My little sunflowers back here are doing good. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? I love butterflies. The zinnias, y'all. Let me move back. The zinnias, aren't they gorgeous? Oh my goodness. I want to thank Gail at Gail Southern Living for the Garden Tour Club and the Weird Container Growing collaborations. They were open collaborations. There will be giveaways in September for August. She's giving away something every month for that collaboration. There is a Fall Fest 24 going to start in September at Gail Southern Living. If you want to get involved in that, you can go to Gail's email at gailsouthernliving@gmail.com. I just love all the different colors of flowers. I mean, it just amazes me that we get all this beauty out of one plant. And they're all different. Just amazing. I'm going to try to get over here. I had planted all kinds of seed down here, and this is what came up. So I'm thrilled that it came up. I'm going to let it go to seed, and maybe we'll get more next year. That will be wonderful. I want to thank Joe at Grow Big TV for the Grow Big 24 challenge. I've got 2 more entries that I need to put in, my final entries in that. I want to thank Luann for Store to Garden Grow. Mine was kind of a bust because it was the potatoes, and I think I did some onions. It was kind of a bust, but you know what? You learn from these things. And then I have the hashtag Scarecrow24 that will go on, I think, until September or October. I can't remember the date. I'll put it down in the description box below. We're going to do a giveaway on that one as well for the collaborators and also for the commenters. So you be commenting on the videos. And do us all a favor and share these videos out, because the more you share, the more people get involved. And that's what we want. I'm bringing you over here. This is a wild lettuce right here. It's going to seed. This is a trumpet vine, and look at the pod of seed on that thing. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I'm going to let it dry and then maybe save some of the seed and do a giveaway with that. If anybody's interested in trumpet vine, let me know in the comments. I would love to send you a few seed and let you get yours started in your yard. It draws in the hummingbirds. It's a hummingbird attractant. Not good for much else, but they do attract that. Y'all, I'm already in a full sweat. I can't walk through my tunnels anymore. Not like I was doing at the beginning. But I'm enjoying the rest of the season for this garden. We will be tilling and putting in some fall plants. I'm hoping we can get that done in the next few weeks. We'll be pulling up some of this plastic and tilling up an area for some turnip greens, and maybe hilling up some areas for potatoes. And then I'd like to plant some more carrots and hopefully get a good harvest out of those. We understand the army worms are in West Tennessee now. I'm not looking forward to dealing with them next year. Maybe they'll die out over the winter. Maybe we'll get a good winter and they'll die out. Y'all can see my path into this. But it just amazes me that these limbs hold so much water. There's another little pumpkin in there. Now the leaf keeps getting in the way. There it is. So you have to get out in here and really look and harvest. I was going to show you me opening up the chickens and all of that good stuff, but I didn't get to it. There's another pumpkin here. Look at this. Just sitting out in the open for me to find. There is a pumpkin down there. These turn like an orange or a tan color, if I remember correctly. They're not as pretty as the little orange pie pumpkins that I've been harvesting. So next year, get out there and garden. Hopefully we won't have the weed problem and the bug problem like we had this year. Y'all, the chickens are tearing up a cantaloupe out here. Those are some of the new babies that we raised this year. They are just precious to us. They should start laying eggs soon. One more look at the Victory Garden. Thank you everybody for watching and coming along on this journey of gardening 2024. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Do me a favor, share this out with your friends on social media, on your community tab and other places. Let them know that we have had a wonderful garden season. We have gotten some harvest out of our garden, and I got to get into my kitchen because I've got peas to shell, green beans to snap, and I'm going to be making some corn relish, so you want to be on the lookout for that video coming up very soon. Be blessed, everybody. Do y'all know what this is? This is not elderberry, y'all. This is not elderberry, but this is poke salad, and these are poke berries right in here. Big plant, like a tree.